Okay guys, today I am going to spend some time going over learning module 7 as well as 6H. One of your classmates wanted me to talk about 6H. Hi Carla, thanks for joining me. I am recording, just so you know. So I'm going to do some problems from 6H, and then I'm going to move to learning module 7 and cover some problems in that section. We're coming down to the stretch. March 4th is the last day to turn in any assignments as well as take the final exam. And I'll be calculating your grades that evening. So I won't be able to tell you your grades until the 5th or the 6th of March. If you need help registering for the next class, which starts March 5th, the MAT0018 online, please let me know. Miss Barnett is teaching that class. I can help get you registered. But in the meantime, let's go over section 6H. So, I'm sorry guys, I'm still feeling pretty sick. So bear with me, okay? Alright, so, and I believe I did one of these problems in the previous video, but I'll do a few more here today, okay? It says, for question number 1 in section 6H, which is pretty much all word problems, an isosceles triangle. So as soon as I see a shape or the word, right, I want to go ahead and draw the shape, is a triangle that has two sides with the same exact measurement. So I'm just going to assume that these are both the same exact measurement, whatever they may be, and one side having a different measurement. So I'm going to label the third side with a Y to represent it's something different than these two. The shortest side of an isosceles triangle is 29 centimeters less than, so I'm taking 29 away from something, 29 centimeters less than twice as long as the other sides. So twice means times 2 as the other sides. And I'm just, since it says sides here, I'm assuming they're talking about these two because it used the plural. So it's basically saying this side right here is 29 less than twice the others. So that expression represents how long this side really is. If the perimeter of the triangle is 47, so that means if we add all three sides together, it should equal 47, right? Which side 1 and 2 is represented by an X, and side 3 is represented by a Y. It should equal 47, okay? It says find the lengths of the three sides and list them in ascending order. So not from largest to smallest, but we want to write our answers from smallest to largest. So just a second ago, we made this basic equation here that says when I add all three sides together, I should get 47 centimeters. But earlier we mentioned that this side is really represented by this expression. So when I write my perimeter, I'm going to write this side plus this side plus this side, which is really this. And it should all equal 47. And I'm going to go ahead and solve that by combining like terms. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 x's minus 29 equals 47. And in order to solve this, I need to move this negative 29 to the other side of the equation by doing the opposite. So since it's minus, I'm really going to add this. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite my work down here. So I got 47 plus 29. So here I have 4x. This cancels, equals whatever 47 and 29 is, which happens to be 76. And then I'm going to divide by 4. And I'm dividing because 4 is being multiplied by x. So the opposite of multiplication is division. That cancels, which is what I want. Whatever you do on one side, you have to do on the other. So my x equals 19. So let's go back to our diagram. That means that this side is 19, and that also means that this side is 19. Well, what does this side equal? Well, this side is 2x minus 29. So in order to figure out this side, I'm going to go 2x, which is really 19, minus 29. So 2 times 19 is 38. So I have 38 minus 29, which is 9. So this side right here is just 9. So it says we're going to list from smallest to largest. So I'm going to go smallest, largest, largest, because they're the same. Okay? All right. So I got Gloria, Carla, and Pablo here. Just want to make sure you guys can't hear me. Okay, Carla says she can't hear me. Can anyone else hear me? What about now? My audio says it's pretty good right now. Am I just talking too low, or you can't hear me at all? Let me see here. What about Pablo or Gloria? Can you guys type into the chat box and let me know if you can hear me? We're just going to stop for 1 second, okay? I want to make sure everyone can hear me. Okay, Gloria says she can hear me. That's good. So, I'm going to tell Carla to go ahead and try and call in. Okay. Alright. Alright, thanks Gloria for letting me know you can hear me. Just had to stop for a second. One of our classmates is having some trouble. Okay, thank you Pablo for letting me know. I was hoping I wasn't having any technical difficulties over here. This is being recorded, so whoever is having trouble hearing will be able to listen to the recording later. So I'm going to go ahead and clear my screen so I can go to the next example. Okay. I'm going to close that. There we go. Alright, so let's try number 2. Okay. For number 2, we are going to, and again, we're doing something similar. They're basically they're giving us word problems and they're giving us a lot of description. They're talking to us about, you know, what types of numbers these candidates have, or what type of lengths our triangles have, and we have to take those descriptions and turn them into expressions. Okay. Most of us will have most of these problems will have 2 variables. The last side had 3 sides, but 2 of them were the same, so it really was just 2 different sides. In this activity, we have Abby and Barbara. Well, these are our 2 variables. So I'm going to make A for Abby and B for Barbara. Give them a variable. Abby has 42 more votes than Barbara. So if Abby has 42 more votes than Barbara. That is an expression that represents how many votes Abby has. Okay, and it's describing how many votes she has by talking about Barbara. If the total number of votes is 600, so that means whatever Abby has plus whatever Barbara has should equal 600 votes. Find out how many votes each candidate received. Well, that's easy. If what Abby had was really 42 plus B, I'm going to replace my A for Abby with 42 plus B, because that's what she had. She had 42 more than Barbara. Plus whatever Barbara got should equal 600. Okay, and then again, I'm combining like terms. I have two B's, and then I have the 42 plus. I want to move the 42 to the other side by doing minus 42. Okay, good. It's okay, Carla. I'm glad you can hear. So I'm going to do minus 42. So here I'm going to get 2B equals whatever 600 minus 42 is. We get 558. And then to get B by itself, again, I'm going to divide because 2 is being multiplied by B. The opposite of multiplication is division. Whatever you do on one side, you have to do to the other. And so my B is going to equal 279. So let's answer some of these questions. It says, write the equation you would use to solve this problem. Well, the equation I would use would be this equation up here that we simplified. The 2B plus 42 equals 600, because that's what I used. And then it says, after solving the equation, how many votes did Barbara have? Well, B had 279. After solving this equation, how many did Abby have? Well, Abby had 42 plus whatever Barbara had. So that means 42 plus 279. So 279 plus 42 is 321. Okay. Any questions about that one? Okay, I'll do that one too. All right, I'm gonna do a few more of these word problems. Let me pick a different one. Okay, for this one, it says Mr. Alfaro has 3 times as many pre-algebra students as he does beginning algebra students. So this time, my two variables are pre-algebra students and beginning algebra students. And he says that he has 3 times as many pre-algebra students as he does beginning algebra students. So what does that really mean? That means that his pre-algebra students really equal 3 times his beginning algebra students. So it says, if Mr. Alfaro has a total, so that means his pre-algebra plus his beginning algebra should equal 56 students, find the number of each. But again, P is really 3 times B, so I'm going to replace that. So when I add my P plus my B, I get 4B equals 56. And again, to get B by itself, I'm going to divide by 4. I get B is 14. So that means he has 14 beginning algebra students, and he has 3 times 14 pre-algebra students, which would be 42. So it says here, write the equation you would use to solve this problem. The equation I would use is right here, 4B equals 56, and that's the simplified version of it. After solving, how many beginning algebra students does he have? He has 14. How many pre-algebra? He has 42. And if I wanted to check myself, if I plugged 14 in here, 4 times 14 should equal 56, and it does. So that would be my final answer there. Let's see. Erase. Let's go to another one. I'll do one more of these. Let me skip down. Okay, it says the distance from Josh's house to Valencia is 14 miles less than the distance from Kimberly's house to Valencia. Whenever you get these kind of problems, you gotta draw yourself a diagram. Make a picture about what is it really saying. So it has Josh's house to Valencia, and then it also has Kimberly's house to Valencia. It says the distance from Josh's house to Valencia is 14 miles less than the distance from Kimberly's house. So let's say this distance from Kimberly's house to Valencia is X miles. So if Joshua's distance is 14 less than that, it will be 14 less than X, which is really X minus 14. Then it says if the total. So it says if I add this and this, it should equal 24 miles. Okay? Find the distance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do X minus 14, that distance, plus this distance, which is plus X, should equal 24. Again, combining like terms, I have two X's. And you want to start solving by moving the term, the constant first. So I'm going to move this by doing plus 14, because you always use the opposite operation, and whatever you do on one side you have to do on the other. So here I get 2x equals 24 plus 14 is 38, and then to get the final answer I'm going to divide 38 by 2, so that means x is really 19. So then let's answer the questions. Write an equation that I would use this one. 2x minus 14 is 24. After solving the equation, what is the distance between Kimberly's and Valencia? Well, if Kimberly to Valencia is x and x equals 19, that would be the distance. And after solving the equation, what is Josh's distance? Well, Josh's distance is x minus 14. X is 19 minus 14, so Josh's distance is 5. Okay. So I think that's enough of the word problems. Let me do some problems from 6F like Carla asked. And if you guys have anything specific you want me to go over, just let me know. I also would like to do some problems from learning Module 7 in this session as well. So just let me know what you guys are looking at besides what I'm covering. So let's see. 6. And I did change the due date. As you can see, I gave you guys a couple more days to complete this. But again, the last day to do anything is March 4th. We cannot go past that date. That is the last and final date. Alright, so 6F is equations. And our goal and I'm going to just rewrite the problem here. Let me just make this a little smaller. Okay. The goal here is to get the variable all by itself on one side of the equation. I'm a creature of habit. I like my variable on the left, and I like everything else on the right hand side of the equal sign. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring 2x to the left by subtracting it. And the reason I'm subtracting it is because I'm picking up the entire term and moving it to the other side. Okay? And whatever you do on one side, which is minus 2x, you have to do on the other. So I get 3x here minus 6 equals 6. Now I'm going to move the negative 6 to that side by doing the opposite operation, which is plus 6. So I get 3x equals 12. And last but not least, I'm going to divide by 3 because that is the opposite of multiplication, and I'm going to get x equals 4. Okay? Any questions on that one? Okay. Let me go skip around a little bit, pick a few. I'll go ahead and do this one. So here we have a pretty similar problem. I think the difference is they gave us a negative here. So again, I want the x's over there, and I want all my numbers over there to the right. So I'm going to do plus 3x to move my x term to the left-hand side. I get 5x plus 8 equals 3. Then I'm going to subtract 8 to get the 8 on the right-hand side. I get 5x equals negative 5. And last but not least, I'm going to divide by 5. I get x equals negative 1 because a negative divided by a positive is ultimately a negative. Again, if you're having trouble keeping up with your signs when it comes to multiplication and division, you can use this tic-tac-toe board to help you remember. You put p's down the middle like a winner for positive, and then you put n everywhere else. And you can just use this on your scrap paper. A positive times a negative is a negative. A negative divided by a positive is a negative. It works no matter which way you go. A negative times a negative is a positive. A positive times a positive is a positive. It's just a tool to help you. Okay? So now I'm going to jump to number 10. Let me see. 10, 11, and 12 it looks like. Okay. Here we go. So I'm going to rewrite it. I got 11x minus 18 minus 10x equals negative 16. The thing here is you have to, let me change my pen color. On the left-hand side, I have some terms that are like terms. Before you start solving, you need to go ahead and put those together. So I have a positive 11 and a negative 10, which means I really only have one positive x left. I'm going to bring down the minus 18, bring down the negative 16. Now I want to get x by itself by adding 18 to both sides because 18 is the opposite operation of negative. I'm left with x equals 2 as my final answer. Did that explain it for you, Carla? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and do number 11. So here, same thing. We have some simplifying we need to do. Okay. The parentheses basically is another way to write multiplication. So whenever you see those, whatever number is kissing the parentheses gets multiplied. So we're going to do some distributing, aka multiplying, before we start solving. Okay? I'm going to just change my pen color again. So here on the left-hand side, there's nothing I can simplify. These are not like terms. I can't do anything. But on the right-hand side, I can distribute the 3, which means I'm going to multiply the 3 by everything that's inside of the parentheses. Then I'm just going to bring down the negative 2 because I didn't do anything with that yet. Then I have to combine like terms. So again, there's a lot of simplifying before I actually start solving. So here I'm left with 4x plus 2 equals 3x plus 13. Now that I'm here, now I can worry about getting the x on the left and the numbers on the right by doing the opposite operation. So I'm going to get 3x moved over, and then I'm going to get rid of the 2 by doing minus 2. So I'm left with x is positive 11 as my final answer. Did that help out? Okay. Let's do the last one, which is number 12. I mean, number 12 is pretty much like the other ones, but I'll go ahead and do this one. So 3x plus 6 equals 9x plus 6. Here, I'm going to get the letter on the left or the variable on the left by doing minus 9x. This leaves me with a negative 6x plus 6 equals 6. Then I'm going to get rid of the 6 by doing minus 6. So I get negative 6x equals 0. Last and final step is to divide by negative 6. And here, you just have to know that you cannot divide 0 by anything. So this answer is 0. Whenever 0 is in the numerator, you're either going to have this or you're going to have this. This you cannot divide by 0. This is considered undefined. You guys will learn more about that. Whenever the 0 is in the numerator, the answer is 0. Did that answer your question about that one? Okay. So I want to do some problems from Learning Module 7 as well, because that is also the one you guys should be working on. Yeah, I know. It does get confusing sometimes. All right. So in this problem, we're going to simplify our exponent. So here I see parentheses. I see a fraction inside the parentheses, and then I see an exponent. So what that means is that exponent is going to get applied to all parts of that fraction. And then you need to simplify wherever possible. So 2 to the 4th power is really 2 multiplied 4 times, which is going to be x to the 4th over 16. Now it does say use no parentheses, which typically I would use parentheses, but since it's telling me not to, I'm going to go ahead and see if it likes my answer. X to the 4th power divided by 16. And let's see if it interprets my answer correctly. It did, and now I'm going to submit. Very nice. Okay, let's keep doing some of these. I'm going to skip around a little bit. Okay. Just like in the first one where I had something in parentheses, except last time it was a fraction. This time it's just a whole number or whole numbers. But my exponent still needs to get applied to everybody. So here I'm going to have 4 to the 4th power and then w to the 12th power, because you're actually going to multiply these. But again, whatever can be worked out, you need to go ahead and try to work out. So 4 to the 4th power is really 4 times 4 times 4 times 4. I get 16 times 16. And 16 times 16 is 256. And I'm just going to bring down the w to the 12th power, because that can't simplify. And I am going to try and go ahead and type this in to make sure it's accepting the correct answer. Preview it, make sure it looks like how I want it to look, and it does. Very good. Alright, I'm just going to keep, doing a couple examples from here, and then I'll do some from the next sections as well. So here, this time I have two terms being multiplied together. And we're just going to take things one thing at a time. First, we're going to deal with just the number, the coefficient. My 3 and my 11 give me 33. And then I'm going to deal with the variable with the exponent, which is x to the 9th and x to the 5th. So what this really means is I have x 9 times and then x 5 more times. And 9 plus 5 is x to the 14th. So whenever you have variables that are being multiplied together with the same exact base, you can just go ahead and add those exponents together. Whereas in the other page, we had a variable with an exponent being raised to another exponent, and in this case we would actually multiply those and get a different number. So watch out for this. Here you're adding the exponents, here you are multiplying the exponents. So I'm going to go ahead and type this one in to make sure that it again likes my answer. X to the 14th. I'm going to preview it. Yes. Oops, I'm not being patient. Okay. Alright, I'm just going to keep on skipping around. Let's go down. So this one, what do you guys think this will be? X to the 5th times x to the 6th. Since I'm multiplying bases that are the same, am I going to add those exponents or am I going to multiply those exponents together? What do you think? What do you guys think I'm going to do? Exactly. I'm going to add those together. So I'm going to get x to the 11th. Very good. All right. Let's see. Let's go to the next one. All right, right here. Again, don't get overwhelmed. You just want to kind of take it one thing at a time. First, I'm going to do the coefficients, which is 6 and 3. And there I get 18. And what do you think is going to happen with the x to the 4th and the x to the 5th? What am I going to get for those? X to the what? What number? Am I going to add or am I going to multiply those? Very good. So I'm going to get x to the 9th. All right. Cool beans. Let's go to another section and do a couple problems from there. All right. Let's do some evaluating. Okay, evaluating is just, I like to think of it as just a fancy way to say plug the number in. Okay, so here I have negative 2x to the 3rd power minus 5y squared. And it's telling me that x is negative 1 and y is 4. So the first thing I want to emphasize is that wherever the variable is, you are going to use parentheses. You have to use parentheses because sometimes you will lose the value if you do not. And then I'm going to take those parentheses and I'm going to plug in the exact number that it gave me. So it says x is negative 1. So wherever I saw the x, I'm going to go ahead and plug in negative 1. And it says y is 4. So wherever the y was, I'm going to go ahead and plug it in. Once I have these numbers plugged in, it's just a matter of my order of operations. That's it. Just order of operations. So order of operations say do parentheses and then exponents, and then either multiplication or division depending on what comes first as you work the problem from left to right. Just like you read the page on a book, you should read a problem from left to right. And then addition and subtraction, same thing, whatever comes first between left and right. So parentheses, yes, I do have parentheses, but I don't actually have anything to do inside of the parentheses, so I'm done there. But then it says go to exponents. I actually have 2 sets of exponents, so I want to work those out first. So I have negative 1 to the 3rd power. Since negative and the 1 are inside parentheses, that means everything inside the parentheses gets raised to the exponent. So that means negative 1 times negative 1 times negative 1 is just negative 1. And then here I have 4 squared, which is 4 times 4, which is 16. So now I'm going to rewrite the problem using these new values. And again, I'm not going to lose my parentheses, okay? I want you to pay attention to how I keep those parentheses, okay? So I'm going to have negative 2 right here times my answer from all of this, which was negative 1, then minus 5 times my answer from all of this, which was 16. So now all I have left is multiplication and subtraction. I have negative 2 being multiplied by negative 1, which is a positive 2. And then I have a negative 5 being multiplied by 16, which is 80. And since it's a negative times a positive, it's going to be a negative. And then my final answer is going to be 2 minus 18, which is negative 16. So again, I'm going to go ahead and type it in, make sure it likes me. So again, evaluating is just a fancy way to say plug it in. Okay? Ooh, it didn't like me. Did I do something wrong, guys? Let's go back. Oh, did I say? Oh, it is 80, not 18. You're right. Is this the same exact problem? Oh no, it changed it on me. But you are right. Let me go back and fix my little pen. I don't know why I moved so quickly. 80. Thank you. So definitely this previous problem was not negative 16, but it was instead negative 78. That would have been a lot better, right, Pablo? All right. So let's go to the next one. See, sometimes I move too fast too. And I had 80 on my little scratch paper too. Still wrote 18. Okay, so here's another one. 6a cubed plus 2b squared. And a is 2, b is 1. So I'm going to use parentheses. Right? You want to make sure you're using those parentheses. And a is 2 and b is 1. And now I'm just going to do my order of operations. I got 2 cubed, which I know is 8, and 1 squared, which I know is 1. It's going to be 6 times 8 plus 2 times the 1. 6 times 8 is 48, plus 2 is 50. And hopefully I didn't mess up this time. Let's try to type it in. There we go. I still got my senses. Alright, let's do a couple more. Let's see, skip down a little. Okay, let's try this one. This one is actually one really big term all being multiplied together. So I got 3z squared x. So I'm going to do 3. Z is negative 2. Z is being squared, so I'm going to square negative 2 times whatever x is, which happens to be negative 3. Change my color. I'm going to do negative 2 squared, which is negative 2 times negative 2, which is a 4. My 3 is going to get multiplied by that 4. And then I'm going to multiply by negative 3. Since this is all multiplication, I could really do this in any order I want because everything's going to get multiplied in the end. But I'll just go ahead and do 3 times 4, which is 12, times a negative 3, which is a negative 36. Okay, any questions about that? Okay. Let me see what that looks like. Oh, fractions. Okay. Let's not freak out just because it's asking us to plug in fractions. Okay, we're still going to use parentheses, so I have 1/2 times whatever a is, and a is being squared, times whatever b is. A is 2 over 5, and b is 3 over 7. So now I'm just going to go ahead and multiply everything. 2 over 5 is being squared, so that means 2 over 5 times 2 over 5, which happens to be 4 over 25. Going to get multiplied by the 1/2 that was in the original and 3 over 7. And what I will try to do here, if possible, is simplify anything that I can on the diagonal. So I can see that 2 and 4 can be simplified. 2 goes into 2 once. 2 goes into 4 twice. 3 and 25 do not have anything in common. 3 and 7 do not. There's really nothing else. So now I'm just going to multiply straight across. I got 1 times 2, which is 2, times 3, which is 6. 1 times 25, which is 25, and 25 times 7, which is 175. And 175 is one of those numbers that only a 5, it's really only divisible by numbers ending in 5. 6 doesn't, so that should be my final answer. I'm going to go ahead and type it in. I am going to use parentheses this time. Preview it. See if it likes me. Great. Alright. Let's see. 07A. Alright. Adding and subtracting polynomials. This is nothing more than combining like terms. I've mentioned that phrase a couple times. Like terms means it has the same exact variable, with the same exact exponent. If those two things match, you can go ahead and combine the coefficients, which is the numbers in front of the variable. So for instance, 2s plus 3s give me 5s because they have the same exact variable and their variables happen to have the same exact exponent. So let's go ahead and try that on this problem here. It says I have 2s plus 10s to the 7th plus negative 20s to the 7th plus 3s. First of all, I want to evaluate these parentheses. These parentheses are almost making me think there's something else to do, but really there's not. There's no number in front of here kissing the parentheses, telling me to distribute or multiply. Same thing here. So really, I can just drop those parentheses. I don't even need those. They're just there to make my life more confusing. So I'm going to write 2s plus 10s to the 7th. And then right here, it's plus a minus. I don't need all that. It's just minus 20s to the 7th plus 3s. Now, if this was a minus sign, that'd be a different story, but it's not. So now I'm just going to look for like terms, which means what has the same exact variable with the same exact exponent. These both have an s, and they both have to the 7th power. So that means I can combine my coefficients and get a negative 10s to the 7th, and then 2s and 3s give me a positive 5s. So I'm going to go ahead and type that in. I got negative 10s to the 7th plus, where's my plus sign, plus 5s. I'm going to preview it, make sure it looks like how I want it to look. Oops, doesn't look like how I want it to look, right? That wasn't to the, I don't want it to do that. There we go. There we go. Okay. You guys have any questions so far? I'm just going to kind of skip around a little. This is the same thing. They're trying to make me think there is more to do here, but really there is nothing to distribute, so there's no need for those parentheses. I'm just going to look for like terms. I got x to the 4th, x to the 4th. That gives me a 10x to the 4th. I have negative 8 cubed, negative 7 cubed, which gives me a negative 15x cubed. 9x doesn't have any other term to combine with, so I'm just going to bring it down. And neither does this negative 1. I'm just going to bring it down. My final answer has 4 terms. That's okay. I'll go ahead and type this in. So you got 10x to the 4th minus 15x to the 3rd plus 9x minus 1. Preview it and submit. Very nice. Okay, here's the ones we definitely want to practice. Remember earlier I said if the middle sign is minus, then we got to pay a little more attention right here. Since that is not a plus sign, I cannot just disregard the parentheses. I actually have to distribute this negative, which is really like a negative 1. I really have to distribute this negative 1 to each and every term inside of that second set. So I'm going to rewrite my problem before I start combining like terms. I'm going to get a negative 4a squared, a positive 4a, and then a minus 1. Now I can begin looking for like terms. Okay? So I got 7a squared and negative 4a squared gives me a positive 3a squared. Then I have a negative 2a and a positive 4a, which gives me a positive 2a. And last but not least, I have 2 minus 1, which just gives me a plus 1. So I'm going to go ahead and type that in. So I have 3a up arrow squared plus 2a plus 1, and you should always preview it. Very good. Let's see. Let's do the last one. Ooh, let's do this one. Number 9. Yeah, number 9 is long. Let's do number, and you see there's an extra little video here too if you need help. This really is about keeping your work neat and watching your signs, okay? So I have this set of parentheses minus this one and then minus this one. So this minus sign is going to get distributed to everybody in here. And then this minus sign is going to get distributed to everybody in here. After that, then we can start combining like terms. So again, keep your work neat. Take your time. So this 5z squared, I'm just going to bring down. The negative 10z, I'm just going to bring down. But everything else, as I bring it down, the signs are going to change. And this is in a bracket, which means I'm going to worry about that first. So this is going to become negative 25z squared plus 28z plus 15. Sorry, my bracket. And then this is going to become plus 27z squared minus 27z minus 1. So I'm going to do all this first. Okay? So I have a positive 5z squared and a negative 25z squared, which is going to give me a negative 20z squared. I have a negative 10z and a positive 28z, which is going to give me a positive 18z. And this was a 15. Remember I messed up, plus 15. So I'm just going to bring that down. Then I'm going to bring down everything else. Plus 27z squared minus 27z minus 1. And again, I just did this first because I had it in the brackets first. But really, we're just combining like terms. So again, I'm looking for things that go together. Negative 20z squared and positive 27z squared give me a 7z squared. Then I have 18z minus 27z, which is going to give me a negative 9z. And last but not least, I have a positive 15 and a minus 1, which is going to give me a positive 14. Let's go ahead and type this in. Okay, we have 7z up arrow squared minus 9z plus 14. Preview it. 7 squared. Yep, that looks good. Very nice. Let me see what this last one is. This one says, this is just an application. It says, this polynomial describes the billions of flu virus particles in a person's body X days after being infected. Find the number of virus particles in billions after 4 days. So basically what they're telling you is they're giving you this. They're telling you X means days, and they're telling you it was 4 days. So that means X equals 4. So you're going to take that 4 and you're going to plug it in. And then you're going to evaluate, which again is a fancy name for plug it in. After you plug it in, you're going to follow the order of operations. You should get a numerical answer that you can put here. I'm not going to do that one for you guys. I'm going to leave that for you. So let me see. I think we've been on for quite some time. What time is it? About an hour. Let me see here. How many more parts are in 7? You got D and E. I'll do a couple multiplying polynomials to get you guys started, if you haven't already started. This is a foiling problem, which basically means everything here has to be multiplied by everything over there. No, Carla, don't worry about that. So I'm going to FOIL by doing 5x times 5x is 5x squared. 5x times 10 is 50x. Negative 8 times 5x is minus 40x. And negative 8 times 10 is a negative 80. And then what you would do is you would combine like terms wherever possible, which here it's the 50x minus the 40x. So I'm left with 5x squared, 10x, and just a minus 80. I got a couple minutes before my battery dies, so let me hurry up. Okay. And go ahead to another one. I'll do like 2 more before my battery dies. This is pretty much the same thing, but they didn't expand it for you. And what I mean by that is you got 4x minus 6 being squared, which means the whole thing is getting multiplied twice, which means it really is a FOIL problem. Once you actually expand it in writing, then you can do what we did before. 4x times 4x is 16x squared. 4x times negative 6 is negative 24x. Negative 6 times 4x is negative 24x. And negative 6 times negative 6 is a positive 36. Oops, I don't have enough space. Hold on. I'm going to rewrite it. So then I got 16x squared. And then you add these two together, which is a minus 48x, and then plus 36. So that would be my final answer. These are not like terms. I cannot combine them anymore. Alright, let me see if I have enough time to do one more before that battery dies. Okay, this one is a combination of what we've been doing. I have x plus 2 being squared, so really it's x plus 2 times x plus 2 minus x plus 6 times x plus 6. A lot of simplifying to do. X times x is x squared. X times 2 is 2x. 2 times x is 2x. And 2 times 2 is 4. Bring down this minus sign. I'm going to keep my answer here in parentheses because this minus sign has to get applied to everything. X times x is x squared. X times 6 is 6x. 6 times x is 6x. And 6 times 6 is 36. I am going to combine like terms, but I got to make sure that minus sign gets applied to everybody. So I'm going to change my color. So this first part I'm just going to bring down x squared plus this is really 4x plus 4. And this is going to be minus x squared plus 12x plus 36. I know I'm writing a lot, guys, but I like to show everything. So it's going to become minus x squared, minus 12x, and minus 36. Now I'm going to start looking for those like terms. These cancel each other out because I got a positive and a negative. I got 4x and negative 12x, which is negative 8x. Then I have positive 4 and negative 36, which is minus 32. I'm going to type that in and see if it likes me, and that is going to be my last one because my battery is dying. And let's see if it likes me. Very good. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and end this part. I'll put it up on my YouTube soon. I'm on campus on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 8 o'clock in the morning until 1:30 in the afternoon if you want to meet me in person. Otherwise, we can set up a phone conference. We could just chat on the phone and, make an appointment that way. So if you want to see me on campus Tuesdays and Thursdays, please let me know so I can tell you where to meet me. You can do that through email or through my text, the 609-400-1743. You guys can text me there. You're welcome. Okay, just let me know what time, Pablo, and we'll meet up maybe at the cafeteria so I can grab my coffee. And I will try to set up another session maybe this weekend to help to keep helping you guys with learning module 7 and 8. Actually, Pablo, my class starts at 9 on Thursday. So we either got to meet up at 8 or at 10:30.